we're going to move into our final session. I can't believe this event is already coming to a close. I'm going to bring in Mr. Kurt Elster. We're going to do some website teardowns. All right, Greg, I will talk to you later.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, everyone.
Perfect. Kurt, you're coming in here. And so if you guys haven't witnessed one of these before, if you're interested in Kurt giving you just unabated and totally untested advice, not totally untested, I should say, then submit your website in the chat and we will be going through this. Kurt, are we planning on mobile or desktop today? What do you want to do?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, make my life easy. We'll do desktop.
Let's do desktop.
Did you say this was the last?
Your closing keynote.
Oh, well, and I mean, by this point, people are tired. We got to wake these people up. Website teardowns!
Okay. Oh my God, that was amazing. Cool.
Every people just like throwing their headphones off.
Yeah. Okay, that was too loud. Yeah, exactly.
15 participants just disappear immediately.
That was perfect. I've got a few for you here, starting with Hair Weave On. I think it'll be a perfect starting point, and I actually talked with Yinka about her site, so I have some insight into what she's up to and some of her challenges. She's facing, some COVID challenges, having a retail store in Ireland. Was it Dublin? I don't remember exactly where. And how she's facing this. Yeah, she'll tell us. Dublin. Yes, got it. Okay. See, I have a memory. Perfect. And we've got some additional submissions. We'll try to get to 3, and it looks like we've got 4 submissions. Maybe we can do 4 if Kurt's got the time, but we got to appreciate.
You got 4? I'll do 4.
Okay. All right. Let's go for it.
All right.
We're the
Here
last
we go.
one, so we can go a little long.
Let's see. Share screen. Google Chrome. Got it. Okay. You should be able to see Hair Weave On. Yes?
Perfect. Oh my gosh. I love it. I think she took my advice on getting the gender. This is already exciting for me.
I saw this immediately. I caught in here. They've got the pop-up. Get 10% off your first order. Sign up to our newsletter. 10% off useful tips, supportive info. And enter your email, gender, male, female. All right. Fabulous. We've got, this is excellent. I bet the opt-in rate, I'm going to make an educated guess. I bet the opt-in rate on this is 7%. Will be my bet. And if I guessed it without going over, I won. Because it's clear, it's straightforward, it is obviously relevant to someone who's on the site. There's a lot of advantage there. If I really want to optimize it, use a photo where it appears that the model is looking at this call to action at the enter email input, and supposedly that will help. And you could probably. I found that clear and concise language works well with opt-ins. So get 10% off first order is great. I would just say get 10% off your first order. And I would even try experimenting with just getting rid of this section entirely. I wish this input looked more like an input. And I'm happy to see gender offered here. You may want to offer for people who don't want to give it or don't identify as one of these two, just give like a third. Prefer not to say.
Yeah, and you don't need that Hair Weave On logo, I would say, since they're on the website and it's going to be on the homepage. There's some tidying up to test.
I'll just tighten just tighten it up, clean it up. Landing on here. So every time this happens, I loathe social icons in the header because they're a distraction. Watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. You'll be terrified. You'll delete Facebook immediately. But essentially, these networks are literally psychologically addictive. So having the icons up here, I'm just like, oh man. I gotta go check Instagram. I wonder if I've notified. You see, you get the idea is why I don't like those up there. I love that you have search up here. We once split tested several different placeholders for search, and we found search the store ... was the one that got the most usage. So if you really wanted to optimize, you could try testing different inputs for that. And I like we got account, my cart, contact us. But then we also have a cart here. This is actually a little unusual. Normally you would not have cart like that. The way out of this, if I were designing this, you've got this tiny little cart over here in the corner. I would take my cart out of here. I would add a label to this cart icon in the upper right, say my cart, and add a background color to it, like this blue from the logo. And then that way it's very obvious, like this is my cart, this is my basket, whatever you want to do. I do appreciate wigs and hair replacement systems for women and men. You've got a headline. It is an SEO relevant headline, but it's fabulous because it is so direct. It tells me exactly what you sell and who you sell it for. So I always appreciate this. Honestly, my biggest concern with this site is this menu system. It is clean. It has been thought through. It is well done. But there's a lot here, and then there's and we have some ambiguous categories like shop more with a whole lot of stuff in here. There's got to be this is an opportunity for a card sort exercise where get yourself some index cards, label each index card with every one of these links, and then try and sort through it. Get rid of stuff that you don't think is relevant. Use it to decide what this menu should look like. I bet you could come up with a simpler one. In an ideal world, there would be a max of 5 main menu items. We'll stretch it to 5 to 7. And then within each of those menus, I really only want 5. Like 5 should be the max to try and simplify your menus. And a lot of this stuff could go into the footer, or you've got these social icons up here. That could become a top menu. Like some of the reviews, some of the support stuff can go up there. I love that we've got some social proof. Check out our excellent reviews. The only thing that spooks me about this, check out our excellent reviews image, is it looks a little chunky. It's a little artifacty. I could tell it looks like it's been compressed. So I would save out a new one. Make sure you save it as a PNG. A PNG stands for Portable Network Graphics. It's the format meant for graphics. JPEG, I'm pretty sure the P stands for photo. It's meant for photos. If you encode an image with text in JPEG, it ends up looking funky like this. And I bet Trustpilot has a really cool widget you could use instead.
Yeah, I would personally prefer it to be essentially text or widget based and not image.
Yes. No, absolutely. And plus, this isn't doing anybody any favors with SEO. And then it says, check out our reviews with 4.5 stars. Instead of the 4.5 stars, use the number. Check out our 4,000 excellent reviews, that kind of thing. This section here, human hair, these feature collections, by far the strongest part of the site, the homepage. So well done, well executed, so strong. And I love the little border effect. It's really cool. I wish the rest of the homepage lived up to the standards set by this one section. And so I think, Hair Weave On, the logo is in a serif font. This thing looks beautiful in a serif font. Guaranteed you could find a font that is similar to this and a nice font pairing for it. And it would really class it up. It'd make it real classy. And so if we had, I wish the menu, I wish these headlines, I wish all of that was in a serif font similar to this. And immediately I think the perceived value of the brand would go up if this section became our new brand guidelines. And then, for the first time I see the color blue. Okay. See, I want a more consistent branding here. And especially hair extensions, hair wigs, it's not inexpensive, right? And I realize the prices here. I'm not that I have a wig, but I'm familiar that these prices are not in the slightest bit outrageous. Are amazing brands. So this is weird in that it's a lot, and I bet this is all one image and it all goes to one page. I would just tighten this up to what are your 5 best-selling brands? Or your 4 bestsellers plus 1 aspirational brand. Put that in here. I think that would be better. I love social proof. I would just set a max, either do 2 columns for what these customers are saying, or set a max width on it so it looks a little more centered. And book a consultation and shop online. Okay, I like that. This book a consultation by Zoom. I think that's very clever. I think that's a high touch thing that you could do. I think that's smart.
And I believe that's one of their kind of core features, if I'm not mistaken. Yinka, you could chime in chat here, is they want to talk you through the process. And they actually have a local office where people come in to have consultations. They're just, obviously not able to accomplish it anymore. And that leads me to my one thing that you couldn't tell from on the site. And I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but since I know a little bit more about it, I love your opinion, Kurt. Since this is, we know that there's some competition in this industry, especially globally. You've got big players like Wigs.com. She's selling mostly locally in Ireland, in the UK area. Would you change any of this given that? Would you try and localize what you see on the homepage to make it more towards that audience? Or do we continue to sell or focus globally in that way?
If things are going well as is, then I would not change things. If you're saying, look, if you're not happy with where the brand is, and really like success is often very subjective. You know, what is successful for one person just isn't enough for someone else. But if you're saying, I'm just not where I want to be, you'll have 100%. You will have an easier time niche down, especially to a local thing, because then you're not competing against an international seller. You're competing. You can then become like, I want to be the big. We're the most trusted hair replacement specialists in Ireland. Wow. Like that's now suddenly that becomes a claim you can make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or so
absolutely.
you get the idea, something to that effect.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's saying that they're growing in Europe. So I think that there's opportunity for them not to niche too hard. Maybe
Even if they still ship internationally, you could still make that the more local claims and localize it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot of the big players in this space are US based, which I think leaves the door open here.
On this collection page, we'll do the collection page, the product page, and then we'll move on. On the collection page, I appreciate the merchandising aspect here. The photos are very consistent. We have a similar look for everybody, so it makes it easier to compare, a similar background. That's always a really nice touch. People look for that. I appreciate it. If we want to take it one step further, I would just like, this is crop square. This looks like it's crop square. Then this one isn't. And so just try and get the image sizing, the ratios consistent. And there's even an app, Pixie Photo Resize. Pixie Photo Resize will recrop everything square for you. Free plug for them there. A little Christmas love. Black Friday's right around the corner. We've got, I love these filters though. I wish more sites with big catalogs use filters. And I know this took a lot of effort for them to do. This is very nice. The buying from this page though, 100% on the collection page, it's not going to happen. No one's just going to drop €820 from a collection page, right? It's just, I don't think it's going to be. This light box does open. Okay.
Especially the color choice that you have to go through here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So ideally, I have studied form design. That's how nerdy I've gotten. And in an easy rule of thumb in form design is when you're only showing them, 3-4 options, display everything like this with radio buttons. If you're showing them 5 or more, you probably don't want to use radio buttons anymore. It should be a drop down. And then ideally, like we're sorting them by these alphanumeric codes, which I assume are SKUs. If that's how the customer shops and it makes sense to them, keep it. But if not, I really would lead with the colors. But ultimately, like we need something like this where I could see. An ideal scenario would be to use a product options app that supports color swatches, and then the person picks on the literal color on the left, like we have here. They've got video embedded in the description. That's great.
Select the product really quick. I think it shows the product. It shows the color when you select one.
It does jump to it. So we do have variant images supported. Excellent. And as of today, we found out just Shopify's adding support for multiple images per variant. So you could group your variant images. That's a welcome change. And, oh, look at that. We even got a little shipping deadline. Order today and some expectation setting. I think that's great. I might consider moving it right under the product form, but I don't think that's a big deal. And then there's a little bit of weirdness here in that it appears that we have 2 sets of tab descriptions. And especially like with a more expensive item, like a €900 wig, little layout issues are going to spook buyers where like it comes across as it's not trustworthy. And the more expensive the item gets, the better that presentation needs to be and less stuff is forgived. So I would just be really careful and dot your I's and cross your T's. Shall we move on to another?
I'm saying here in chat because it says get it by 7/10, which in EU makes perfect sense for being October 7th. But Kurt, you're thinking, oh, July 10th. So I
Yes.
said maybe say October date, and if it's possible to do that in there. But if you change it to October 7th, then there'll never be a confusion because us Americans and our backwards everything's.
And then it's, I mentioned that consistency thing. Down here it says basket. The icon is basket. In Europe, in EU, we typically see basket. But then up here, my cart. Just try and make it consistent all the way across.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Let's go to the next submitter. I forgot to vet them. Let me double check. This is, actually, this is a great one. It's Lights Lacquer. I think I said that right.
Drop it in that Slack. I don't want to mistype this thing.
Okay. Yeah. I'll Slack it to you right now. There you go.
Derek with the DM. Lights Lacquer. So oh wow. See, look at this we just talked about a welcome pop-up that was like, hey, give me your email. And the offer was 10% off. And I said, I think this will work, but tighten it up and see if you get the model looking at the form. Okay, this one, it's definitely, it's higher style, has a better aesthetic. But what you could do is if you flipped this image horizontally, and so it was mirrored, that would work, where her gaze would be going toward this form. Fabulous. And they've just kept it really simple. You want 10% off? Enter your email. That's it. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Now, the only thing that's confusing is, a continue button is probably fine. No, I'll pay full price. Oh, I don't like these dark patterns. Why is my website being passive aggressive? You just everyone knows, like the standard is the X is in the upper right and the X will close it. You have stuck to that, adhered to that standard. You don't need the button. You can get rid of the other button. And I bet escape closes it. Let's try it. Yeah, escape closed it. One of the things we look for in a site is what's the first impression when you land on the homepage? And I just did a bunch of judging for a theme competition, and that was, you got a bonus point if it it had a really great first impression, or use the theme in an unexpected way. +1 on both of those for Lights Lacquer. It is so clean and so big and bold, and yet minimal. It's just makes a lovely first impression. And unexpected way, oh my gosh, look at this. It adds little sparkles. I don't know what that's about, but I love it. I wish the web was more fun again. And we just implemented as a proof of concept, we did branded snow on a client site. And so I think this is really cool. It immediately helps them stand out and add some engagement, some professionalism. It's kind of cool. And certainly there's lame ways to do this, and I think theirs is lovely. They've got, look at the size of this menu. Oh my gosh. I would just run a heat map and just ensure that on every device this menu gets used as intended. Keeps it very clean. I think you could probably get rid of home. I like it new. Shop's kind of killing me. Shop all collections bestsellers. I wish that stuff was just available in this main menu. Lacquer yearbook gifting, there's bundles. Bundles could really just be in here. It's too many steps for me to get from the homepage to a product. I think was
if we can remove a click here, we win.
And then here I've got another pop-up that's trying to get my mobile number. I probably would have tried to combine that welcome pop-up as either, which one do you want, mobile or email, or try and combine them.
What's interesting, that continue button might have taken you to a mobile on step 2.
Good point.
So
you're absolutely right. It does?
Yeah.
Again, great job on merchandising. These photos are really great. It is
hard to read.
A little hard to read. The web is 90% typography. It has to be easy to read. No one is going to mess around trying to figure out how to read it. So I would add a transparent background to this. If you're concerned about that breaking the aesthetic, you can mess with a drop shadow, and you can do it in such a way where it's not particularly obvious, but it does make it easier to read. but ideally, like the image works. But I get that it's tough, especially with a responsive site. These sale badges, really subtle, really pretty. This I called this out on the other site, too, on the hair restoration site. Be very consistent with your image ratios and your image types. Here we've got like, wow, that's cool. Oh my gosh. On hover, you get the secondary image, and the secondary image is a GIF. That's extremely clever. I just wish, and this one's cool, and this one's lovely, but if they just end up with like slightly different sizing, I think it would be nicer if they had the same sizing.
Yeah, square, not circle, square.
Yeah, just try to keep it consistent. And like, I bet they have a third product that has the same layout style that could probably go in there. And then we end with our Instagram. We got the newsletter again. Here, subscribe to our newsletter. You probably want to make that offer again. Since you're doing it so well with the other stuff, get 10% off. Just repeat that offer here. And then it says, hugs and kisses, Kathleen. Who's Kathleen? I would have introduced, I like personal branding. I like knowing brand story. And we've consistently found that are really, really successful brands, the ones that make it into multiple seven figures, almost all have a very clear brand story, and they tell that story in several places. So going through that exercise, figuring out what your brand story is and sharing it is really powerful. At the bottom of the site, our social icons live down here, hooray. And we've got we got all our info down here. We keep it really clean, simple. I love it. In the menu, I wonder if I'd probably add about down here again. The payment icons I would get rid of. I think by 2020, we've all figured out how to pay online. And then I love Shopify, but just get rid of the powered by link. It's cleaner without it. So what's a product page look like here? Wow, that's very nice. If it's clean, it's got how-to info. It's got these lovely reviews. I'm not a huge fan of the masonry grid layout for reviews. Just it looks a little messy, and especially on a site that's so clean and so grid-based. But fortunately, this is an easy change. You go in your review app and just pick a different layout. If this is the one I'm thinking of, there's more than one masonry grid that you can do. It might be
looks, I think, but I would recommend photo. We need photo reviews and prioritizing
100%. Absolutely. You may also like, as social proof, I like to use what Amazon does, and I say customers also viewed. And there's implied social proof there. With these reviews, again, I want more social proof. I got 3 pages of reviews here. Wow. There's only 15 reviews. And with this layout, why can't we just show all 15 reviews or do 10 reviews, right? I think with social proof, more is more. Thrilled by this how-to section. It's really nice. I think it could benefit from, you've got this really phenomenal imagery. This circle animated GIF thing. I like that look. I bet you could jazz up this how-to section with similar photos, or even illustrations might be neat too, though I don't see too many illustrations on here. Look at this. I love they're doing this cross-sell opportunity here. Add our top coat for just $12 and add to order. The only thing that's weird about the top coat or this cross-sell opportunity here is just the font's too big, right? Like the add to order here should be the same size as the add to cart here, and this font size. And then I think this would look really, really amazing. Almost always, I want to put the product form before the product description. That is probably an option in the theme if you want to do it. And I like it just because it gets it further up the page. And here, like nail polish, it's pretty much nail polish. If I like the color and I like the brand, for $9.50, I'm just going to buy it. And so having it, not for after the description, I think makes sense for something like this. And then heat map these share buttons. I guarantee they've never been used. I would just get rid of them. And then that way you go just straight into this how-to. Yeah. All right, and thank you for enabling dynamic checkout buttons. Always smart.
My definite concern here is average order value. So we added this to our cart. Like, what else are we going to be added?
Well, they've got this, but so I added to cart. It did not. There was no hey, did you want this bundle? Like I saw bundles on the site. So if you're, and especially nail polish, you're right, it's an inexpensive product. And if I'm just shipping one, that's good. That kills me. It's not great.
Yeah,
So
probably costs the same to ship 1 versus 3. And so
exactly.
you really want to maximize the money they spend for the same size box. And yeah, it's got to be upgrade to bundle, essentially.
Yeah, ideally, every color they offer should be available in a bundle of other colors. And then that way, every time someone adds a single color to cart, you can have a pop-up say, hey, for just X dollars more, did you want the bundle? And I wouldn't, I bet you come up with a better name than bundle, but that's big. And then when I added to cart, nothing happened. Oh my gosh, what happened? What? It should be a theme option. Ideally, I want a drawer cart or just redirect them straight to this cart page, especially since this cart page is beautiful. It is so clean and so nice. And I love that they call it your cart, which supposedly has a benefit on conversions. And we've got our express checkout buttons down here. I would remove this guy, shipping and taxes and discounts, etc. Just get rid of that. I don't think it helps. And this checkout button, I would rename it proceed to checkout. I think all of that would help. And if you want to get into like some serious landing page, squeeze page type optimization, on just this cart page, hide as much of this footer as you can to clean it up. And then that way there's less for them to be distracted by.
Yeah,
all right,
at this point, we want them to check out.
Yeah, if they got this far, we're like, all right, let's party. And we style the checkout, and it looks lovely. Excellent. Okay.
One thing I would add here is there could be, and you'll have to test this yourself, look at your existing retention and repeat purchase rate. And of course, there's always ways to optimize that. But if it looks even halfway decent, I might consider adding a subscription component to this. And then you choose every month one product that they get. And it's not the most ideal because we said there's like fixed shipping costs and stuff. So sending a $12 product isn't great. But if you can figure out how to make the margins work, then I think there is an opportunity to, buy 6 months, buy 12 months, and have them renewing that subscription. And of course you want, and I recommend recharge typically for subscriptions. You want them to be able to skip a month with that subscription, because obviously if they're feeling like they have a lot of polish, they're not going to want to buy or pay for another one. So you create a subscription, you make it easy to skip, cancel, hold, postpone, wait until, fall or something like that. And then you create seasonal component and give one away, your selection. And of course, then you can reveal what that is. They don't even get to choose what it looks like. You reveal what it is every month on your social. That's going to drive them there every month. And then they have this discovery component built into the product. They love it. They share it, etc.
That's really good. I like that. Yeah, another marketing truism is that people love novelty. The human brain craves novelty. So if it's like every month I get the excitement of a surprise of finding out which color it is. Oh, okay.
Give yourself the gift, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, let me see. I got another one for you here. It's mysilverwood.co. I'm sorry, I'm sending it up to you now. I had one specific issue with this one. Let's see if you have it too.
And we got another clean, simple sign up. Great. You may consider dropping name.
Okay, you found the X. See, I
hit escape. I couldn't find the X.
Okay, so I couldn't find the X, and clicking off the pop-up didn't work for me. So immediately I was like, I have to put in my info in order to get that. I think there's a way to enable clicking off as essentially closing it. I think that's definitely something to ensure. And then you might have to change just the color of that X. I don't even know how you do that exactly, but we got to make it easy for them to cancel out. If you have to add a cancel or no thanks button, maybe do that, but you will see a high bounce rate if they don't think they can X out of that, which is very scary. I
think the site is so pretty. It's very nice. Again, we got the social icons, and then we know people read in an F pattern, top to bottom, left to right. So putting them where they are currently is, as far as I'm concerned, the worst possible place to put those social icons. The logo, it doesn't tell us what you sell, so I would strongly consider adding a tagline. Just, handmade, ethically handcrafted jewelry. Boom, 3 words describes the brand, and then that way they already know what you sell. This menu structure, very nice, especially this guy. Really, really pretty. You may consider, I like it's like shop and it spits everything out. I think that's nice. Blog and news, I would probably have that live in the footer just to clean this thing up more. Customer guide, this is nice, but I'm glad the content's here. I bet we come up with a better name than customer guide. Discover Silverwood, this is really nice. Well, I talked a lot about the importance of about us. There's a lot going on here, I really think all of this should just be in a single long amazing page that sells me on your story, rather than I bet these pages aren't particularly long too. Oh no, this pop-up's still firing. Yeah, okay, not a lot going on here. It's good content, but each one of these is pretty short, so these could easily, all this about stuff should just be one page. It is so much easier for me to for anyone to scroll, right? As demonstrated by this obnoxious movement right here. So much easier to scroll than to get them to click, load, then go through a page, then find the next one, and on and on and on. So I would just put it in one page and they'll skim it. And I think all the content combined will have a much bigger impact because this is all really good. And it doesn't have to be fancy. I mean, you use the photos to break it up and it'll look nice. And sustainability. See, if I would make sure I would lead with sustainability and I would have that in the tagline, because for someone whom sustainability is important, that gets their attention. It's a pleasant surprise and they're willing to pay more for it, right? For me, that's part of my sustainability is part of my personal brand. I got, the electric car and the solar panels and the whole bit. It's not cheap. People who are into sustainability will spend more. But if you don't tell them that it's buried for me to, I got to go in this drop down and then the third of 5 about pages, you see where it gets harder to figure that out. And I saw it mentioned on this homepage. Rarely do I get into design and branding suggestions, but here this sign up now button is black. And I think it really fits the brand and the page really nicely. But then the rest of these, the call to action color is green. I might say try doing black for everything and then green is the hover. I think it might look nice. But all right. Men's is cool. That's for me. So we got a collection hero image. Fabulous. Really clean collection page. This pop-up is making me crazy. Go in these pop-up settings. After I've dismissed it for the 5th time, it should not still be firing.
Yeah.
And I would question how many gift cards have you sold? Anytime I see gift cards where it's stuck in every single collection, how many of you really sold? Probably not many. And so I'd say, if you haven't sold any, just get rid of the gift cards as a listing on the site. Put the gift cards in the footer. When we've done that, people never have any problem finding them. And then I think this collection would read a lot cleaner. This is legit cool. This necklace.
Yeah, I like it. Right. It's totally not my style, if I'm being honest, but I like it. I could never pull it off, essentially.
Well, I don't think I could wear a necklace. I'm cool. I'm not that cool. I'm not necklace cool. Under color, I wish this was color swatches, but it's not the end of the world. And, and clicking through here, I'm not sure that these are different colors. I think this might be all the same. So, and it's not obvious which one is shown, right? Yeah, it doesn't say, I don't actually know which one I'm buying. So that's where the color swatches would really help. It would make it more obvious. These guys, these payment icons, what is going on here? I would get rid of that. And this description is set up really nicely. But this stuff, skillfully handmade, returns and exchanges, shipping and delivery. This is the same on every product, I would guess. I don't think this changes. So when I see that on a product description, rather than make it part of the product description, you could make it part of the product page and give it much nicer formatting. What if this were 3 columns across the bottom of this page? I think it would look really nice. And then again, we got the social share buttons that I promise no one is using. I would get rid of those. Under customer reviews, it says no reviews yet. If I had to guess, you're using the Shopify free product reviews app. It is a perfectly cromulent app, but it has a fatal flaw. It does not actually send emails requesting for reviews. So if you're wondering where your reviews are and you're using Shopify product reviews, you have to set that up in Klaviyo, or at that point, if you're going through that much effort, I would upgrade to a paid reviews app like, Derek's the app expert. But what's your favorite? Give me a couple reviews apps, Derek.
I look. Wiremo is. They spoke yesterday, and their tool
I've
is
never even
really
heard of that.
cool. Yeah, I know. I hadn't either. When I saw it, I was like, oh, wow, you have a really robust platform. However, I've never heard of you. But the two that I'd say smaller stores can go with it a little bit easier. Well, three maybe. Looks, which I really love because it's photo first and even it has video. Judge Me and Stamp.io are the three other ones. And then when you're looking at mid-market, what's that?
I'd agree with that. Yes. I don't have a ton of experience with Looks, but Stamp to Judge Me are really nice.
Yeah, and they all have very similar functionality. You're going to run into which one do I choose, Derek? And I just go, look, they're going to almost be the same in a lot of ways. So just kind of go through the process of seeing which one is easier to implement from a design standpoint or integrates better with the rest of your tech stack and stuff like that. And one thing to hijack the conversation briefly, the product looks great, but I want to see it on a person. We had a whole event on social media and influencer marketing. We're going to have a podcast episode about it. You can gift this product to certain micro influencers who will take photos with it, and then you can use those photos on your site. So by doing that, you're going to gain both social proof to drive traffic, and you'll get product images that will hopefully help convert people visiting the site. So that's just a random thought of mine.
No, I think that's a great strategy.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're focused on women and not men, which is why us guys looking at the guys section probably.
I know. Yeah, you're right. I should have just picked I should have gone shopping for my wife. I appreciate on Add to Cart, it immediately opens a drawer cart. It makes it so clear that, you added this to your cart, and here's the next steps. Either I could close this and go back to shopping. No one has to explain it to me. I don't need a continue shopping button, though there is one down here. I question its value. And then renaming this place your order is probably not the best because you're not actually placing your order. It's proceed to checkout, right? So I would go with checkout or proceed to checkout. That's fairly pedantic, but microcopy is important. And the total cart value. Is it the total cart value though? We don't have shipping and taxes in here. So I'd probably get rid of this line. I don't think they're is this 2 of my 3 products? We probably, the label's unnecessary is my point. But let's head to the checkout. See what we got here. Oh, we got our first one where they forgot to style the checkout. Naughty. So this is way more common than you'd think. Don't forget to go in your shipping settings. You can upload your logo. It'll look really nice. You could set the colors and the fonts to match the site. And then additionally, if in settings legal, if you add your policies like refund, terms of service, the shipping, links to those will appear down here next to the copyright text. So that's always a nice touch. I think makes it look like a little more trustworthy. If the phone number is optional, consider removing this field. It's not, if you don't need it, don't ask for it. It'll make life easier. And if you want, you can edit languages and make this opt-in a little more enticing than keep me up to date on news and exclusive offers, which is just the default text they always have.
I actually need to study this a little bit more. Kurt, you might know, it says email or mobile phone number. So that's an option that you can check in the back end of Shopify that allows people to essentially use their phone number as the way that they come into the checkout process. They might even essentially move into a login into ShopPay or whatever through that when they do it. The reason I'm bringing it up is because I really want the phone number. I want to collect the phone number. The question is that
SMS.
Yeah, because you got to be sending people SMSs, and in the lacquer example, I thought that was a great way to collect phone numbers. But maybe if we're collecting phone numbers at checkout, do you have a best practice for this, Kurt? Is there anything you've seen for collecting phone numbers at checkout, or is this not exactly the right place to get more information from them in that way?
Well, no, a lot of these, the SMS apps do have the opt-in at checkout. And if you think about email, often your your best source of emails, and especially qualified emails, are of course from people purchasing and opting in. And so that's why, I always leave this opt-in to default checked, which they've done here, and I always try and give it a more enticing label to make sure they don't uncheck it. And for the phone number, the exact same thing is true. But the catch is you got to have the checkbox for them to opt in with the phone number, and then a disclaimer statement, and you have to make sure you link to your privacy policy down in here. So it's extra work, but 100%. If you are in a position to collect SMS, that you definitely want to modify the checkout to do it.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome.
Are we doing one more?
We are. I think we're basically at time here, I would say, because we're over time, and we definitely, I want to keep going, but
that's all right.
We're 20 minutes over. So let's end it there. I think that was perfect. Those were amazing examples, and sorry to everybody that we couldn't get to today. You will be able to find Kurt in the future at future events doing this, but most importantly, we have a link for you here. Tell me what this is. This is like a rundown of all the teardowns that you've done in the past?
No, that's an actual, if you want to buy, if you want me to spend an hour or more going through your site and your analytics and on mobile and desktop and doing these screencast teardowns, I can 100% do that for you. But of course, I have to be compensated for my time. So that's the link we provided is it's actually the least expensive way to engage with me is with the website teardown. It's a really compelling sales offer. It's the least expensive way to engage with me.
Well, you got to give them the most expensive way first, the all you can eat. And
you need the value anchor.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to go out on? Well, we got Black Friday around the corner. You want to go out on some Christmas music?
Yeah. Perfect.
It's Phil Spector produced that album.
Yeah. Bringing back some memories of childhood for sure. I do recommend you take Kurt up on this offer. If you're doing $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month, you haven't had a good, like a keen third-party eye on it. He can give you a rundown of the things he thinks you need to change. You can pass that to your design development team or execute on it yourself over the next few months. And then using Nick's process or Nick himself for additional conversion rate optimization testing, you'll make sure that it's improving your conversion rate. And then, of course, it pays for itself over time. And there's not a better time to do this than right now. And Kurt is legitimately slammed. I've seen this man's schedule. So if you can squeeze, like you got to get these sessions squeezed in between all of his client meetings and all of the work that he's doing. I mean, you've got the podcast and all that stuff. Other than that, Kurt, where can we find more about you?
Google me, head to kurtelster.com. There's more info there. But if you sign up for my newsletter, that comes from my actual email address. You can reply to that, ask me a thoughtful question. I will send you a thoughtful reply.
Perfect. So thoughtful question being the one caveat there.
It can also be like, what's the best app for X? In which case I'll say, ask Derek.
Yeah, I've got the answers. People ask me, it's like, I've been doing this for 2 years now, and people ask me that question, and I still am like, oh gosh, that's a good one. So it can be.
There's so many apps.
It can be really tough to keep up with it. I just realized I put the wrong link in here. There's a typo in it. There it is. Nans is going to take you up on the teardown deal. So you got one to do later on. Kurt, thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure. And I always recommend everybody subscribe to his podcast, the Unofficial Shopify Podcast, the best banter in e-commerce.
Plus we got the soundboard with plenty of sound effects.
Yes.
And on that, I'm out of here. Thank you, Derek.
Perfect. Awesome, Kurt. Thanks.